Oh, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever this video finds you, welcome to TIC's second broadcast of the day, second live of the day. What's up, Carlton? What's up, Lewis? Oh my God, let's get into this. So, Cash Patel got nominated today, and as I've been saying, it's on and popping. It's on and popping now. Oh my goodness. So let's read this courtesy of the Tribune. Cash Patel's FBI confirmation, crucial step in Trump's agenda to uphold rule of law in the White House. All right, the White House on Thursday welcomed the confirmation of Cash Patel as the new FBI director, describing it as an important step in executing President Donald Trump's agenda to restore integrity and uphold the rule of law. The White House on Thursday welcomed the confirmation of Cash Patel as the new FBI director, describing it as an important step in executing President Donald Trump's agenda to restore the integrity and uphold the rule of law, which we just read. The White House further emphasized that the FBI will now refocus on its core mission of enforcing justice fairly and without bias. All right. So, sharing a post on X, the White House wrote, FBI Director Cash Patel's confirmation as FBI Director is a crucial... Oh, well, goodness gracious. The FBI will serve the American people and refocus on its core mission, enforcing justice fairly and without bias, the post added. Following his confirmation by the Senate on Thursday as Director of the FBI, Patel, an ally of President Trump, expressed his gratitude and vowed to rebuild the agency into one that is transparent, accountable, and committed to justice. Patel thanked President Donald Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi for their support and emphasized his commitment to restoring public trust in the FBI. While the nomination faced opposition from Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine, don't know why, Patel received backing from the rest of the Republican Party, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who had previously opposed other Trump nominees, according to NBC News. So, okay, Mitch McConnell being the Democrat. Well, Mitch McConnell, no, he's a Republican, right? Mitch McConnell, he voted and then he decided to retire. He said this is his last year. I doubt he'll finish out his term because of his mental state. So, I mean, this was the last thing that he did. And if there is anything that leads back to him during these investigations into government taxpayer funds being kicked back, a nomination like this and a step down because of mental faculties, you know he's not going to be fit to stand trial. He's too old to throw in prison. So what do? You just admonish him, maybe make him pay a fine, get some of the money back, if not all of it. If you can, they'll tie it up in court, and he'll probably eventually pass away or be left with a settlement with something, so that way he'll take care of his care as an old man. He might be able to keep his house. We'll see. The confirmation passed with a narrow 51-49 vote, as all Senate Democrats voted against him. Of course they did. Early on Tuesday, Patel cleared the key procedural vote in the Senate with strong Republican backing. Of course he did. The Senate voted 48-45 along party lines to advance the nomination, triggering a 30-hour debate before Patel would have received final approval on Thursday, the New York Post reported. Yeah, those are those 3 seats that Jasmine Crockett was talking about, with 2 of them in deep red Florida. She can forget it. During the Senate confirmation hearings on January 30th, while referring to the January 6th Capitol riots, reiterated his firm stance against violence, emphasizing that such actions must never be tolerated. He stated that anyone who engages in violence against law enforcement should be investigated, prosecuted, and imprisoned. And some of those people did not vote. because they did it by like actual factual videotape evidence of them assaulting police officers. So those guys, they're still in jail. I think they may have gotten reduced sentences, but they're still in jail. They're not going anywhere. During the Senate confirmation hearings, Patel said, "For January 6th, I have repeatedly, publicly, and privately said that there can never be a tolerance for violence against law enforcement. And anyone that commits an act of violence against law enforcement should be investigated, prosecuted." Oh, okay, I read that. Sorry. He led President Trump's counterterrorism mission as deputy assistant to the president on the National Security Council, the NSC, and helped President Trump with his top priorities, including eliminating Al Qaeda and ISIS senior leadership, and safely repatriating dozens of American hostages. I know, why am I butchering that? As the top counterterrorism official at the White House, Koch was responsible for creating and implementing our nation's policy to safeguard the homeland by overseeing the interagency implementation of the National CT Strategy, ANI. Okay. So Kash Patel has quite an impressive background. Let's get into this a little bit because it has a nice little twist at the end. Mr. Patel served as the former chief of staff to acting Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller and is responsible for leading the secretary's mission at the department, including his executive staff and providing counsel to the secretary on all matters concerning the department's operations. Previously, Mr. Patel served as the deputy assistant to the president and senior director for counterterrorism, CT, at the National Security Council, NSC. In that capacity, Mr. Patel oversaw the execution of several of President Donald J. Trump's top priorities, including eliminating ISIS and Al Qaeda leadership, such as al-Baghdadi and Qasim al-Rimi, and the safe repatriation of numerous American hostages. Mr. Patel also served as principal deputy to the acting director of national intelligence, where he oversaw the operations of all 17 intelligence community agencies and provided the president's daily briefing. Before joining the NSC, Mr. Patel served as the National Security Advisor and Senior Counsel for the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, the HBSCI, where he spearheaded the investigation into the Russian Active Measures campaign to influence the 2016 presidential election. Concurrently, he oversaw sensitive programs for the intelligence community and U.S. Special Operations Forces and worked to enact legislation to fully fund the multi-billion-dollar budgets supporting intelligence and counterterrorism or operations worldwide. Slow down. I'm in my head. Mr. Patel joined the HBSCI following his tenure as a terrorism prosecutor at the Department of Justice, DOJ, where he led investigations spanning multiple theaters of conflict and oversaw the successful prosecution of criminals aligned with Al Qaeda, ISIS, and other terror groups. Mr. Patel also served as the DOJ liaison officer to Joint Special Operations Command, the JSOC, working with our nation's most prestigious counterterrorism units to conduct collaborative global targeting operations against high-value terrorism targets. Oh, so you got a good background here. Okay. Mr. Patel began his career as a public defender, trying scores of complex cases ranging from murder to narco trafficking to complex financial crimes and jury trials in state and federal courts. A native of New York, Mr. Patel completed his undergraduate studies at the University of Richmond before returning to New York to earn his law degree, along with a certificate in international law from University College London Faculty of Laws in the United Kingdom. Koch is a lifelong ice hockey player, coach, and fan. But, you know, when you go to college, you're supposed to go to college and get degrees that can help you advance your life. I'm sorry, but a gender studies degree, it's not going to get you anywhere in life. Who's texting me? Hold on. Hold on. I know I'm broadcasting. All right. Let's see. All right, so there was something in here. Oh, here we go. So, I mean, this is all of like, how he came up. So, he was born in February 25th of 80. Oh, so he 5 days away from his birthday. Okay. Is an American lawyer, former federal prosecutor at the U.S. Department of Justice. Previously, he served as chief of staff to U.S. Secretary of Defense Christopher C. Miller and senior advisor to the acting director of national intelligence, both during the first presidency of Donald Trump. In November 24th, President-elect Trump nominated Patel to succeed Christopher A. Wray as director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. As a member of the Republican Party, Patel was appointed senior counsel on counterterrorism for the House Select Committee on Intelligence in 2017, as well as senior director of the Counterterrorism Directorate at the U.S. National Security Council in 2019. He worked as a senior aide to Congressman Devin Nunes during the latter's tenure as chair of the House Intelligence Committee. While working with Nunes, Patel played a key role in helping Republicans in the investigations into Trump and Russia interference in the 2016 election. Patel was instrumental in drafting the Nunes memo in 2018, which alleged errors in the FBI application for a surveillance warrant of Trump's 2016 campaign aide. Patel also believes in the existence of a deep state in the United States, to which we're going to go into now. Oh yeah, we're going to get into this. What's up, Simeon? You know what? Hold on. I just realized something. Hold on. My bad. Oh my God. Let me get this out the way. Hold on. How did I spot it? I see it. I can get it out of the way. But sometimes you guys gotta tell me this stuff. I don't always pay attention. Hold on. There we go. All right. So let's get into this. I don't know if y'all can really see this that well, but I'll highlight it. Okay. So promotion of conspiracy theories. All right. We'll get into this. Does that look better? Well, I guess a little better. But at any rate, let's go large. All right. That should be better. Is that better? Yeah, y'all can get a better look at it. All right, so promotion of conspiracy theories. Patel has promoted multiple conspiracy theories and has been described as a conspiracy theorist. Conspiracy theories promoted by Patel include the deep state conspiracy theory, false claims about the 2020 election fraud, where Joe Biden got 80 million votes and at that time the highest was 68 million. And you're trying to tell me that you're almost 20 what? Let's see. You're 12 million votes more popular than Obama. Okay. Sure, buddy, sure. QAnon, COVID-19 vaccines, and false claims that the FBI instigated the January 6th United States Capitol attack, claiming it was planned as long as a year in advance. He also claimed Democrats knew about the attack in advance. Patel promoted the conspiracy theory that Trump supporter and Oath Keeper Ray Epps was a paid undercover FBI agent who provoked rioters to enter the Capitol. Patel has actively promoted the QAnon conspiracy theory. On Truth Social, Patel promoted an account with the handle AQ, which distributed messages related to the conspiratorial movement. According to Media Matters, Patel shared an image featuring a flaming Q on it and went on multiple QAnon shows in order to urge members to join Truth Social. Patel said in 2022 that Truth Social was trying to adopt QAnon into our overall messaging scheme to capture audiences. Okay, so it's well, if you guys are going to talk about the government, then y'all need to come over to Truth Social. I mean, because that's where Donald Trump tweets from. He doesn't tweet from Twitter anymore. He tweets from Truth Social. So it's like, if this is what you call yourself doing, then come over here where you have him and a bunch of other Republican people in Congress and the Senate or whatnot. This is where they now post. They've been posting on Truth Social for a minute. So I understand it, but you can't be doing that. This is no different than AOC trying to get doing webinars to illegals. And that the figurehead of the QAnon movement should get credit for all the things he has accomplished. Patel has appeared on multiple far-right podcasts promoting conspiracy theories, such as on Stu Peters, and appeared over 50 times in at least a dozen podcasts that have promoted the QAnon movement. Okay. Patel has signed 10 copies of his children's book about King Donald with the QAnon motto WWG1WGA. Where would we go one? Where we go one, we all go. We go all. Okay. Where we go one, we go all. Okay. All right. Okay. Whatever. He has also promoted the WWG1WGA hashtag on Truth Social. Also on Truth Social, Patel has promoted the use of pills that he said reverse the effects of COVID-19 vaccines. Okay. Patel has expanded on his view of a deep state in the United States in his 2023 book, Government Gangsters, The Deep State, The Truth, and the Battle for Our Democracy, which Trump praised as a roadmap to end the deep state's reign. And of course, you see he's doing that, going after the money. Going after the money. Patel has been a featured tour speaker at the Reawaken America Tour. The Reawaken America Tour incorporates conspiracy theories into the speaking schedule of the touring speaking events. Patel was paid $25,000 in 2024 to appear in a 6-part film series entitled All the President's Men, The Conspiracy Against Trump. The series was made by a company owned by Igor Lapitanok, a Russian national and U.S. citizen who had previously produced films alleging deep state conspiracy theories and promoting narratives of the Russian government. The series ran on the Tucker Carlson media platform in November of 2024, with Patel appearing as a supposed victim of the deep state. Tom Nichols, a former fellow of the International Security Program at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University, wrote in November 24 that Patel is a conspiracy theorist even by the standards of MAGA world. Wow. Well, you know what that means, right? You're looking at a guy who when Trump says sick him or Pam Bondi say sick him, he gonna go get him. He's gonna go get him. He's gonna go get him with zest and fervor. All right. He's gonna go get him with a purpose. Wow. I mean, but that's what you want as, your director of the FBI. So, let's see what we got here. Hold on. Because he said some things, but oops. All right, there we go. Here we go. All right. I have to make sure I got everything set. Let's play it. Let's see. Adam Schiff warns Kash Patel will weaponize FBI against anyone who stands up to Donald Trump. And that's pretty much the cover story for when he goes after these Democrats who have taken kickback from
Mr. President.
Senator from California is recognized.
Today, the Senate is on track to confirm Kash Patel as director of the FBI.
What's up, motherfucker?
Think about that statement for a moment. Kash Patel conspiracy theorist, January 6 denier, MAGA sycophant, and political provocateur, will be FBI director. The absurdity of it, the destructive consequences of it. And it's worth asking today, how did we get here to such an extreme point? To this moment when someone so patently unqualified, really disqualified from any position of responsibility, is poised to become director of the nation's preeminent law enforcement agency.
We expect that.
Earlier today, I stood with my colleagues out in front of the FBI headquarters, a building that Kash Patel promised to dismantle on his first day as FBI director and turn into a museum of the deep state. The home of a department that we all know he will convert into a political weapon for the president. The president, who is a serial lawbreaker and will use Patel as a tool for retribution against his enemies. But in a democracy, law enforcement does not serve the president, let alone someone who fashions himself as a king.
Really?
Law enforcement serves the people. It is nonpartisan. It is not a vehicle of political payback for a political party. And yet we are watching the FBI and DOJ hollowed out, dismantled, and turned into an investigative and prosecutorial extension of Donald Trump's White House. We are watching it live in real time. It is already happening in that building we visited this morning. In just the last month, Donald Trump's Department of Justice has engaged in a brazen, sweeping purge, a rolling Saturday night massacre, an unmistakable campaign to intimidate, to punish, and to drive out thousands of hardworking, nonpartisan FBI and career DOJ employees.
That's a lie. But
this is happening as we speak. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove fired roughly 24 prosecutors involved in January 6 criminal cases. Not for cause.
No, for
not for corruption.
Yes, for corruption.
Not for misconduct.
Yes, for misconduct.
They were fired for failing what is in effect a loyalty test. A loyalty test.
And what's the loyalty test?
MAGA mob attacks the Capitol on January 6th to stop the peaceful transfer of power. They beat police officers, gouge them, bear spray them,
with
all in the service of an even bigger crime, stopping the peaceful transfer of power after Donald Trump lost his re-election. And they get pardoned by Donald Trump. The lawbreakers get pardoned. And the brave FBI agents who track down these violent miscreants, these agents get
and then lie.
They get fired. They get purged. The one-man wrecking ball that is Donald Trump is turning the world upside down. The criminals are being pardoned and the cops are being punished.
No, you overextended.
Kash Patel sat before the Senate Judiciary Committee and under oath insisted he knew of no plans to punish FBI employees involved in investigations related to Donald Trump. He positively levitated at the suggestion that such a thing could even be true. Then within days, top FBI agents were fired. Thousands of FBI employees, career professionals, were sent a detailed questionnaire demanding they disclose any involvement in investigations related to the January 6th insurrection. A warning accompanied this. Additional personnel actions could follow. And yet, Mr. Patel testified that, quote, there will be no politicization at the FBI. There'll be no retributive actions taken by any FBI should I be confirmed as FBI director.
See, I mean, of course, he's a Democrat, so he's not going to tell you the full story. That there were about, 26 FBI agents undercover in the crowd that stirred up the riots, helped egg it on and everything. There's a video of one. They had him handcuffed, walked him to the back, took the cuffs off, and they were high-fiving each other because he was undercover. You know, remember back during the Ferguson riots or whatnot, the Ferguson situation, they caught some black dude he was busting out windows, so they went to approach him, and then all of a sudden his partner pulled out a gun because come to find out that they were undercover cops causing mayhem. Same thing. Dude pulled out his service weapon, called for backup to help get them out of there, even though the black guy was the one that, was breaking windows. Same difference. Same difference. So if you're one of those agents, you got to go. You got to go. It has nothing to do with politics as far as from their end, the way they're looking at it. They're more so looking at it as, like Cash Patel said, cleaning out the deep state. All right, let's go. Oops.
He sat in that committee room and told the Senate all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. That was a Thursday. 3 weeks ago, the very next day, the purges began. Before the ink had dried on the transcript of that hearing, the retribution campaign had begun. In his written response to questions, Patel denies knowing about these actions in advance, denies knowing whether he discussed these dismissals with the White House, the DOJ, or the FBI. He wrote, "I do not recall having conversations with the transition team about pursuing any particular investigations or targets." I asked him in writing about these actions, and his answer was he doesn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, whistleblowers have come forward to testify or to state that not only did Patel know about the upcoming purges, he was directing those dismissals.
Of course.
How could he not recall that? It wasn't years
It wasn't none of
ago or even months.
How about that?
It was days before. Days before his written answers to those questions, those written answers where he said he couldn't recall, he was directing these purges covertly as a private citizen. But he doesn't recall. Purges of quality career professionals who dedicated their lives to the rule of law, who have been fired, laid off, or forced out because they dared investigate a violent insurrection on our Capitol.
Yeah.
Or the president's retention of classified documents that contained our nuclear and other national security secrets. There was a time in our country when the FBI was weaponized, when it served as a sword for the president, and the DOJ served as his shield.
Uh-huh.
When Hoover authorized covert harassment campaigns against the perceived enemies of the president, we thought those days were over. And they were over.
No, they were not.
Until now. We must not put in place a Roy Cohn for the president, someone who will bend and break the law to serve the president's personal and political aims. For therein lies the path to corruption, to unlimited power, and to malfeasance of the highest order. We put up guardrails to prevent one man and his cadre of company men from turning the Bureau and Department into a partisan and lawless battering ram. We must not take them down. Because we know the road that lies ahead.
Yeah, you lost.
We know that Donald Trump cannot destroy the nonpartisan character of the FBI and the Department of Justice without his enablers. And Cash Patel is Donald Trump's hand-picked enabler and henchman. The guy who would say yes when everyone else would say no to any immoral and unlawful requests made by Donald Trump. The guy who publicized his deep state list, almost half of whom are Republicans. The guy who worked for and retains millions of dollars in stock in a company supported by the Chinese Communist Party. In any normal world, that would automatically disqualify someone from leading the nation's premier law enforcement and counterintelligence agency.
I guess.
This is not someone we would want running the FBI. It would be unthinkable to confirm a nominee who's written an entire book in service of, quote, dramatically limiting and refocusing the scope of the FBI's authority. A nominee who's publicly said it would be fun to go on a manhunt of government gangsters alongside those who, quote, represent Donald Trump's army to take this country back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm of the opinion that the people the FBI should be going on manhunts for are actual criminals.
Oh, they
not
will.
The president's enemies of the day.
No, let me tell you something, bro. Mr. Goofball. Tell you right now, as long as you didn't misappropriate taxpayer funds through USAID, the Department of Education, okay, the Treasury, the Pentagon, the military, etc. As long as you didn't misappropriate funds, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
The FBI shouldn't serve as Donald Trump's army. Alas, we will not soon forget the last time Donald Trump's army presented itself to us, when they beat down the doors of this Capitol, when they attacked law enforcement and sought to overturn an election.
Oh,
Mr.
boy.
Patel is quite familiar with that mob. He celebrated them in song. Now, Mr. Patel tried to deny his association with the January 6th choir. He said he had nothing to do with their recording. But earlier on Steve Bannon's podcast, he was all too proud to brag about it.
Let's hear it.
So what we thought would be cool is if we captured that audio and then, of course, had the greatest president, President Donald J. Trump, recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Then we went to a studio and recorded it, mastered it, digitized it, and put it out as a song, now releasing exclusively on the War Room.
Play it. Let's hear it.
When I asked him about this under oath, his response was, and you may never believe this, when he said we did this and we did that, we didn't include him. I don't know what's worse, taking credit for something he didn't do, or doing something and then lying about it.
Or we.
But what I do know is this is not the character of someone who should be director of the FBI.
Too late.
At the hearing, I also asked him to turn and face the Capitol police officers in the
Oh, that was you. That's right.
These officers from the same department that suffered such grievous injuries on January 6th. He couldn't do so. He couldn't look them in the eye. And I don't blame him for being too ashamed.
He wasn't ashamed. He just thought it was stupid.
Celebrating their victimization in a song. He should be ashamed.
What's the song?
And anyone voting to confirm him should be ashamed.
Play the song.
And yet here we are, on a fast track to rubber stamp his confirmation, asked to turn a blind eye as he takes control of the most powerful law enforcement agency in the country. That is what my Republican colleagues seem poised to do. And I will ask again, how on earth did we get here? And where are we going? By confirming a nominee who is so plainly unqualified, who is tied up in shady business dealings with the CCP and the Kremlin, who made songs with violent cop beaters, who made memes of himself sawing the heads off of members of Congress. How on earth did we get here? Because we all know where this road ends.
Where does it end?
A weaponized FBI, investigations into anyone who stands up to Donald Trump, elected officials, journalists, Democrats, and Republicans, anyone. Now, I know some of my colleagues seek solace in the belief that if they just toe the line for long enough, they'll be spared.
Yeah.
But we all know what happens when someone falls out of favor with Donald Trump. When you're inevitably asked to vote for something or do something so egregious.
Like what?
That you cannot possibly continue to say yes.
Like
and when
what?
you reach that moment, when you're forced to cross the president or abandon your final line in the sand, it will be these moments you remember, the concessions to a wannabe authoritarian that you were willing to entertain, the lines you allowed him to cross so you would be spared his wrath. But you will not be spared. No one is. Not the veteran, nonpartisan employees at the FBI, not the maverick moderate members of this body, not even the most extreme supporters, left out in the cold the moment they are no longer valuable to this president. When, not if, when you fall out of favor with Donald Trump, Patel and others may be unleashed on you as well. My colleagues should remember there is more room under Donald Trump's bus than on it. Enabling his administration is a one-way street, and by continuing to go down it, you drive yourselves and the foundations of our democracy to the very precipice. My colleagues, we have a duty today, a duty to the Constitution and a duty to the American people. We have a duty to the 38,000 men and women of the FBI who put themselves and their lives on the line every single day. Those who work in the building where we stood this morning in the freezing cold and in communities and cities across the country, keeping us safe and secure. We must take that duty seriously, because if we confirm Kash Patel, knowing what we are getting, knowing where we are going, we will only have ourselves to blame. Mr. President, I yield.
I have to admit, he just bored the hell out of me. All that fear mongering. There's a few questionable things, but like with the QAnon stuff, but not everybody is perfect. But man, that dude, this dude fear mongers. I'm not even gonna play this second part because it's just more fear mongering. You say you represent everything you hate about the Democratic Party. I don't blame you. What's up, Jibba Jabba? Call him Shifty Shift. So, at any rate, the guy's nominated, and I would tell you right now, the first thing that's probably going to say, babe, this was coming from the mother father that wasted millions of taxpayers' dollars on Russiagate, right? There was nothing there. There was nothing there because it was all BS. Like I said, if you didn't take any kickbacks off of you say you glad RFK got in. Yeah, everybody got in. Everybody got in. This was the final piece of the puzzle, though. They've already launched investigations into I think Democratic leaders. Let me see. Hold on. I think I posted it on my profile. Let me see. Because they've already launched investigations into Democratic leaders concerning some of the shaky things that they've done. Oh, crap. Sorry, I thought I may have retweeted it. I don't think I did, unless I'm on the wrong profile. I got 3 of these. Here we go. Kash Patel calls for Democrat Alexander Vindman to be prosecuted for leaking a phone call to undermine President Trump. This dude looked like an actor, Marlon Madison or something like that. Okay, let's see. Hold on. See, it may be. I know I retweeted it. No, I don't have it. Sorry. I know. But we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. They're trying to block the Kash Patel vote, but it's already out. It's all right. It's already out. No violence. Can't show any violence. But, here's a prime example. What's going on overseas. Germans can't use Berlin subway because it's occupied by angry Islamic mobs. Europeans must wake up now. And these are the things that they're going through overseas. And the police just look so powerless. You got this idiot sitting there blocking the door. He would get yanked right out of the doorway. Anybody in the doorway would get yanked out. possibly arrested. Matter of fact, arrested for obstruction. I'm not gonna play this game with you. This is a subway system. Get out of the doorway. You got a problem with anything, you take it to the courts. This is wild. I mean, at least in the United States, we got people that'll push you in front of a subway train instead of blocking it. And of course, you got Ukrainian soldiers are now tearing American flags off their helmets to protest Donald Trump because the free ride is over. Yeah, go ahead, tear it off. We don't care. The Ukrainian free ride is over. Yeah, the free ride is over. Take it off. You didn't care anyway. The free ride is over, bro. Thousands of Gazans line the streets to cheer and celebrate as the bodies of 4 murdered Israelis are paraded through the streets. Among the dead Israelis on parade were the Bibas family, mother Shiri and her 2 sons, Kathir and Ariel. Yeah, I heard that a couple of them were had been unalive. Look at that. See, here's what they're talking about. Mitch McConnell's, this is Dodge News Department of Government. Mitch McConnell's annual salary is $193,400. His estimated net worth $95 million. Should Dodge investigate? Of course. So you go ahead and oh, that's right. Here's where they were talking about. Remember, they were earlier today. We were talking about the $15K that the government is going to give back. Well, it looks like it's going to be $5K. So, you know, here's Ratchet Jasmine Crockett talking about it.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from Doge back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
Listen, he's just telling a lie. He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID.
That's a lie. How did he not? Because the first checks everybody got was under Donald Trump. Excuse me, Miss Goofy. But we didn't get the second check until Biden came into office.
Refunds that people had during the midst of COVID that was done by a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Right now, what they're going to do is say, hey, we want to give you a refund, but Congress won't let us because they already know that there's just no money for that. The only reason that those refunds came before was because we were living in different times. This was a time in which hopefully we won't ever go through again. We had a once in a lifetime pandemic. The bad part is that I don't know if it's once in a lifetime because we know that Ebola, unfortunately, was detected right here in New York here recently. And if we continue down this road of getting rid of scientists or deciding that we don't want to rely on experts as it relates to what they're telling us to do, or we don't want to deal with vaccines and medicine in this country, then we may be facing not only our next pandemic, but our next 2, 3, or 4 pandemics because of their incompetence.
I'm done. Look, this chick is so dead. She's so brain dead. Trump had to sign off on the stimuluses, which he had no problems doing because he didn't want to shut down the country in the first place. Secondly, if you got $200 billion for Stacey Abrams, $20 billion for Stacey Abrams, but only $750 to the people in North Carolina, and I'm sorry, you got $5,000 per American to cough up, especially with all of the cuts that Trump has made ever since Elon took over Doge and got the work. So the money is there. Don't play like it's not. How dare you sit up here and try to tell people who, especially the people who just lost their jobs or quit their jobs, $5,000 before April 15th would go a long way with them. I mean, they might pay their rent for 2 months or something like that. $5,000 can do a lot for a lot of people. So don't sit up here and talk like, well, you know, it's a little funky, $5,000. Girl, sit your goofy self down. You are so anti-American, it's pathetic. You're so anti-people, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. We are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you. Well, then put another zero on there then. You know, this is 100,000 British patriots saying we want our country back. Yeah, like I said, they having like civil wars and stuff over in England. These be the videos I see. What is this? Oh God! All right.
The Seattle Police Department is going to be moving in to make an arrest. Do not interfere with this arrest. If you do so, you can be subject to
These are
arrest as well.
Democrats protesting, of course. To jail. No, not letting her go. She's going to jail.
The Seattle Police Department is going to be moving.
Here's what I'm trying. You know what? I always have this question. If you're from another country and you're here protesting what's going on here with the United States with your country's flag, you know, like say for instance, illegal immigration, you're waving around Mexican flags and stuff, trying to protest illegal immigration or the arrests and deportations of illegal immigrations. Why are you waving up your country's flag? Clearly, you need to get the hell out and go back home if you value your country's sovereignty that much. At any rate, all right, so let's get out of here. You say, yeah, that'll pay for my new roof. Yeah, my late father said these fools have stolen so much money they can afford to pay everybody $100,000 for the rest of our lives. Like, but she's pro LGBTQ. F out of here. Oh, cover your transmission and still have enough money left over, pay some bills. You're like, yeah, go work hard in Mexico. So, all right, so you'll see. We're going to see exactly who the first targets of Kash Patel, as far as like him building. You see that picture of Pam Bondi, because understand he's going to go wherever Pam Bondi tell him to go. Because I'll say it again, everything that Elon Musk is uncovering that looks to be criminal activity, he's turning over to Donald Trump to look at, and then Donald Trump will turn it over to Pam Bondi. Will then tell Kash Patel, hey, look, I need you to look into this. I need you to investigate this. And then that's when charges will either be filed or not filed, depending on what he finds. He just needs to come up with a team of qualified FBI agents, because do understand, you know, as much as old dude was running his mouth about Kash Patel and FBI and weaponizing them and politicizing them, it was an FBI agent that leaked ICE's plan, or what time they were going to strike in Aurora, Colorado, with Tren de Agua taking over that apartment complex. It was an FBI agent that leaked the information. So yeah, he's got some house cleaning to do. Yeah, there was, of course, people had to take a loyalty test because you're not loyal. You're loyal to an administration that is no longer here, the last remnants of it. Yeah, you can be loyal all you want to. Let us find out that you had some improprieties and you're going to jail or you're getting fired. Anyway, like I said, we'll see who his first targets are. But, you know, Mitch McConnell, like I said, he's already stepped down. His name might be on the list. He's got an excuse. He probably won't go to jail, but expect to see a lot of Mitch McConnelling and Nancy Pelosi in the next couple of weeks, if not a couple of months. All right, y'all be safe.
He must have given up, thrown in the towel, abandoned his sad little masquerade. I finally got to him. The power of the press triumphs.